And hello, good day in the Viking tongue. And I am your host for the day. I am Bragi, the son of Magnar.
And I am Egil Thorsson, warrior, runecaster and storyteller and mate of Bragi's.
Oh yes, we're like Viking brothers.
Oh yeah.
Now, today we're here to talk about a subject of folklore and a folk tale called the turnip.
I have served that one before, haven't I?
Yes, it's been published a couple of weeks ago. People were very impressed by it.
Would you like to refresh their memories?
I will do, yes. Luckily I know it, so I can remember the folk tale. So a long time ago in an old village in the land of Russia, the home of the Russian Vikings, there lived an old man. He had a bald head and a big beard. And he was very old for his age. He'd lived a long time, for many seasons. And he was a farmer. Everybody in those days, if you were poor, you farmed.
Yeah.
And well, our man, he was a turnip farmer. And he was famed all throughout the land, the Middle Earth, for growing turnips. He had a very impressive big field. And well, this year he planted some turnips and something very strange happened. And this reminded me of when I was in a nearby village when they was having a turnip pulling contest to see who could pull out a massive turnip. Oh yes. And well, this one year a turnip had grown so big. It was ginormous.
Wow,
And it was that time of the season for putting your turnips out, because after all, you got to store them for winter, don't you?
Yeah.
You want to eat and have food. And so he went out one day putting turnips, and he'd been very busy that day. He'd done half the field, and he decided that he was going to try to put out this big turnip. So there he was, he got his arms around the turnip, and he pulled. But nothing happened, Egil, folks. No matter how many times he tried to pull this turnip out of the ground, it would not move. And so he thought to himself, I know what, I'm going to go back to my longhouse. You can do the voice of the grandmother.
All right.
And go and get his grandmother. So he went up, knocked on the door. The grandmother answered.
Who's that there knocking on my door?
And the farmer explained, Grandmother, I've got this massive turnip and I want you to give me a hand to try to put it out.
Always on my ear, wanting something. Hang on, I'm coming.
So she got a walking stick and after about an hour ambling over the field, managed to get to the place where the ginormous turnip was.
Now, horrid little grandson, I can see it. You want me to bend down and pull that turnip up?
No, not exactly. He was going to put her arms around the grandson and he was going to put his arms around the turnip. And together they tried to pull. But what do you think happened, folks, Egil?
I don't know.
Nothing. No matter how many times the grandson and the grandmother tried to put up the turnip, it would not move.
I always said your mother should never have married your dad, you useless article.
And so he went back to the farmhouse and he found his daughter, or dossier in Anglo-Saxon.
Hi.
And she was a very posh lady.
Hello.
And he explained, that he's been putting turnips and he's got his old turnip, big turnip, and he can't get it out of the ground. He wants some help.
Ew.
Knocked on the door, of course.
Who's that?
And the old man explained, I want you to come down the field and try to help me and your grandmother to pull out this turnip.
Oh my goodness, the things I have to do for this family. Hang on, I'll get on my special shawl.
And so she got a special shawl on and she ambled across the field to where the grandmother was sitting down on another turnip waiting. And I hope it wasn't a short one. And then all three had a go at putting the turnip. First of all, the granddad, he got his arms around the turnip, and then the grandmother.
Yes, so you smell, I can smell his armpits.
Put her arms around the grandfather, and then the daughter put his arms around the grandmother.
Ow, you do smell awfully bad.
Indeed, and all three of them, they tried to pull out this turnip. and with a mighty pull, a mighty heave.
Do you really want this turnip? The whole field of them.
Oh, it was a big turnip. He wanted it. It was a prize turnip.
Ew, how common.
And what do you think happened, folks? Egil?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. And so the farmer, well, he thought to himself, well, I've run out of people now. I live with my grandmother and my daughter. And then he realised he had a dog.
Ruff.
And this was a Russian dog.
Ruffsky.
Ruski, yeah.
Ruffsky.
That is what Russian dogs sound like, apparently.
Yeah, that's true.
And he said to the dog, and the dog had a right London accent voice, you know, right gangster voice. And he said, I want you to come with me to help me, the grandmother and the daughter to get this turnip out.
You what? Leave it there, son, leave it there. He lost his Russian accent.
He hasn't now, but hey ho.
It's a Russian Spaniel.
Yes. And so the dog agreed to go and help. And they all got to the field. The grandmother was sitting on the turnip. The daughter was looking disgusted being in the field.
Yeah, rotten dog.
Yes. And
I think a crow just did something on me.
yes, and well, they all had a go at putting the turnip out. First of all, the man, he got his hands on the turnip. And then the old grandmother walked up.
Yeah, I don't like him.
And she put her arms around the man. And then the daughter put her arms around the grandmother.
Okay, Smelly, come on, we're ready.
And then the dog got on his hind legs and put his front paws around the leg of the lady, the daughter.
What are you doing? Oh, right, sorry, I misread your sign.
And all four of them
Don't flatter yourself.
tried to put up these turnips.
And?
Nothing happened.
Good grief.
Again, the turnip would not move. And so the man, he thought he was very clever. He sat 2 hours thinking again. I got nobody else. Then he realised he had a cat.
Meow.
Um,
Meowski.
What do cats sound like in Russian?
Meow, baby.
Meowski.
Yeah.
And, well, he went up to the cat. You know, the cat's a bit of a dude. And he said, what do you want?
Well, what do you want, eh, meow?
Was it Italian? I don't know. And,
Just a slip of the tongue.
all right.
He was eating spaghetti.
Oh, indeed. And the cat agreed to come and help, you know, the man and the grandmother and the daughter and the dog to get the turnip out of the ground.
Do we have to be near the dog?
You've got yourself lucky, furball.
And so all four stood in a row. The grandad, he got his hands around the turnip.
And?
The grandmother,
Oh dear, there's a hole in your trousers.
oh dear, well, it was poor, and put her arms around the grandfather's waist. And then the daughter,
Ew! So have you.
again for the third time, had to put
Yeah,
her arms around the grandmother.
I do hope this won't take
And then the dog got hold of one leg,
All right, darling.
and the cat got hold of the dog.
Meowski.
And all five tried to put out this ginormous turnip.
Ew.
Oh, wow, meow. Woof, woof, woof. Ow, woof, woof. Ow.
And it was said that the turnip was so big that some people could live in it. It was that big.
Oh.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, I know.
And so the man, the farmer, he was very worried. He had nobody else. And then he saw three beetles walking along in a row.
She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which one's Ringo, if you're typing in. And, you know, he said to the beetles, will you come and help me and my grandmother and my daughter and my dog and my cat to get this turnip out?
All right, we'll do that then.
And they was Birmingham beetles.
Yeah, I'm meant to be Liverpudlian.
What?
The
I'm a
accent's,
beetle from Birmingham.
Fantastic, lovely. We'll do it for you then.
No.
Forget the brummy.
They're gone to Liverpool now.
That's right, we're the Beatles.
And so they agreed to help the man and the grandmother, you know, and the daughter,
Great.
the dog and the cat to put out this turnip. And so they all stood in a row. The man got his hands around the turnip.
Oh, it's getting old, is this?
And then the grandmother, she got her hands around the man.
I hate you now.
And then the daughter, who's a bit snobbish and a bit posh, put her hands around the grandmother,
Ow, I don't want to be here.
reluctantly.
Mm.
And then the dog put her arms, his paws around the leg of the lady.
Gordon Bennett, your ankles are now fat.
And then the cat, Meowski, he went up,
Meow.
put his little paws around the dog. And then the three beetles, they each put their little paws, little claws around the cat.
2 Liverpudlian, 1
And then
Brummy.
suddenly make a big popping noise. the beetle, not the beetle, the turnip popped out. The end of the tale.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's the folk tale.
Right.
So, what do you think about that, Egil? What are your first thoughts?
How difficult it is to do voices just like that. But,
Well, I know.
yeah, I mean, the turnip itself, I mean, there's obviously something.
This shows that level of genius, Egil.
And what it represents could be the establishment. What does it date from?
Well, this would be a medieval tale, so later medieval,
Could
probably.
be new ideas against old ideas that are reluctant, like Christianity, paganism. Because, I mean, I assume Russia was later accepting Christianity.
I think it was a bit later, yes, than Europe. I'm not an expert on that.
And it would, this is only off the top of my head, so please excuse me. But it seems to me that paganism was hard to remove, and no matter who you brought in, there was still, and it wasn't until everybody pulled together.
Because you could see a Christian version of this tale being a potato and not a turnip, being the new world versus the old world. You know, let's face it, who eats turnips these days?
I do when I can.
Well, I do them. Very nicely roasted in honey.
Oh.
We're not a cooking channel. Vikings versus food. That's a video you like to do.
I just chop it up and boil it up.
Yeah, so was it a very stable food? Did a lot of people grow turnips? Was it common, Egil?
Well, I would imagine so, because let's face it, potatoes weren't around till old Walt Raleigh nipped off to
of course so.
In the Americas, obviously, potatoes were a staple, but we'd have turnips. I don't think you even had cabbages until later on.
I think cabbage was later. I think it's one of those things from the 16th century, but I could be wrong. I'm no food expert.
But you got root vegetables.
Yes.
They made up most of your diet. I mean, meat was expensive for wealthier people. So, you know, pottage is a famous medieval thing.
Well, indeed.
Peas pudding is another one. And they'd eat it hot, cold, whatever. You ate whatever you could get.
But it's interesting how the folktale revolves around the aspect of food and getting your food for to eat, because it's what you need. It's your life. You know, it keeps you alive.
It could be that they view religion in the same light as food for the soul rather than food for your stomach. But without it, you would wither and die spiritually. The new religion takes a bit of swallowing and a bit of sorting out, as any new religion would. And people would try and remove it, hence the old man pulling it, and couldn't do it on his own, so he got the help of lots of other people, and eventually they do.
But I think that also demonstrates the fact that you're in a small community, you live in a farmstead, everybody will be busy doing things.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you cannot afford to be idle in those times, could you really?
Right up, I mean, my grandmother, she was always, and my mother was always either knitting or doing something, and the old expression, the devil finds
work for idle hands.
Yeah, and because basically, even if you were sitting telling a story, you could spin, sew, men would make leatherwork, shoes,
or repair your shoes, or do a bit of sewing on your tunic.
But they would be doing something.
Skittle.
And the idea, sort of from my father's time upwards, we don't do that. A lot of people still knit. I remember my mother, we were watching television and she would be knitting all the time. That's what she did.
I don't think your version had the three beetles, but it's very interesting how three beetles appear in this story.
Just that little bit to tip things
over.
But
why the beetle? Why is it the smallest creature
if you look
gets to turn it out?
If you look at the social scales, it goes down from the top of society, right? It's so that even the littlest people, the people who mean less in society, probably do the most work. All together, if we as a society pull together, we could out this old idea and come in with the new. This is only my view. I mean, I may be.
Well, yeah, these are just our opinions. I mean, a lot of our videos, you guys may not know that we don't actually record them more than once. We just do them on one go and that's it. Generally the video's done. And we very rarely will film something twice.
Yeah, it's usually lists, because you've got to remember it, and we have idiot boards, don't we?
Well, yes.
Well, I do.
Now let's just go back. It's interesting in the folk tale that the guy was he must have been very poor because he didn't have a horse or a cow to pull out the turnip.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, that we are a product of our time. We automatically think. Everyone had horses, everyone had oxen, beasts of burden, but that's not necessarily the case. The guy could be so poor that the only thing he has got is a cat and a dog.
I mean, that's something I just thought about, is the fact that, you know, you may want to go and buy your neighbour's horse to do some ploughing, or your neighbour's cow, and you share.
Could be using it already. Or it may be a community that is so poor that it all belongs to the Lord, and he says, no.
Is this also a demonstration of crop rotation? Because is the farmer rotating his crop, and why has he got this giant turnip growing? I mean,
well, another question
must have some magic.
He's a farmer. Why didn't he dig it out?
Well, there is that.
Perhaps he did.
Perhaps his spade's broken. I mean, we all take for granted these days that we can go to your shed or your garage and get a spade.
Well, of course, the spades then would have been wooden, and they'd had an iron hoop on it, and you would have had...
If you're lucky.
Yeah, or you'd have a wooden or metal sole.
Sometimes they're covered in leather at the bottom.
So that you could push, because trust me, if you bang the underneath your foot, you know about it. Goes straight to your head.
This reminds me of an English folk tale about a turnip field, and where some people also grew a massive turnip, and there was like a debate on how to get it out of the field. But I can't quite remember the contents of it. But it is on the channel from last year, I think.
Another thing you could think of: how many times have you heard? I mean, at school they used to call us turnips because they thought we were stupid. Wonder if the turnip is the epitome of stupidity in society that they're trying to remove. I don't know.
I don't know.
Just another thought.
Is the turnip associated with the village idiot?
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I don't know if it was the same for you at school, but we used to be called turnips, cabbages. We're a bit age difference.
Yes, I think you went to them.
The stuff that I got
time.
through would now be on a register. That we were called all sorts of things. I had a Polish teacher who called me a cabbage.
Well, apparently, this is one of the most famous Russian folk tales. This, so I believe it's.
Maybe some of our Russian friends.
One of these famous collectors of folk tales collected it in the 19th century. So
it may have a different significance in Russian society. If you think you know, let us know, because this is only our assumption. You know.
Oh yes, I mean we're just generally chatting about this folk tale.
As far as I'm concerned, we could quite well be wrong.
I mean, why was there lack of men in the farmstead? I mean,
that's true.
You know, that's another aspect of this folk tale which seemed lacking. Because you'd have thought, you know, you got your you grow turnips. Where's your sons? Have they died in battle and war?
What about your neighbours?
Yeah.
I mean, they would have lived close by to other people.
Why not a carrot? Probably later, I think carrots are.
Well, it would.
Why not an onion?
The Vikings did have carrots. They were purple or white.
Yes.
It wasn't till later they became orange. And onions, yeah, of course they had onions. I don't know where our onions
downstairs. Getting wrinkly now.
You're going to eat it, but onions is for eating.
Yes, they may not know about Thomas the onion.
Thomas and the onion.
Yes.
When you ask Thomas about questions about onions, I'm sure he could answer them.
Yes, if you've got any questions or any comments about this folk tale, then please leave them in the usual way. And you can leave a hashtag folktale-chat. That'd be great. And we do like doing and covering these folk tale subjects because folklore is a very interesting and fascinating subject. I mean, we often think about history and we talk about the swords and the axes and the shields.
It's folk history, isn't it?
Your stories like this is your oral tradition and your oral history, and it's just as important.
It also covers the every man in his hovel or every woman in a hovel that gets overlooked. We talk about kings, like you say, we talk about the weapons.
Now, I'm not sure if we still live stream on Instagram, so not check the camera because I'm sitting in front of the camera.
Right, well.
So, at this point, we are going to start to wind up the video. So, if you any last thoughts on this?
No, not really.
So.
Just keep viewing and sending us your comments.
Please share this on Reddit, on other sites, and well, we'll see you in the next folktale chat, which will probably be on animals or human folktales. So that's 2 more we're going to record soon.
Just be groovy.
So It's goodbye from Egil.
And it's goodbye from Bragi.
Indeed, goodbye and stay groovy.
Woof woof.